Today, I want to share with you a trip that I went on a couple of weeks ago with the Scouts. Our scouting misadventures in the Wind River Range. I'm going to be sharing a lot of pictures, so don't look at me, look over there. But I also want to share some key takeaways from this trip. Be prepared for whatever might happen, and maybe be prepared for things you're not quite expecting. Be flexible. Be not so beholden to your original plans that you can be flexible and consider some other options when situations arise. But most of all, have fun. And with Scouts and young people, it's extra important to make sure that they're having fun as well. The background here is actually some of the mountains that we saw. Our original route, the Scouts had picked this out, and they wanted to backpack this route highlighted in yellow, which is close to 37 miles. And they wanted to do this in 4 days. And there's an elevation gain of about 6,000 or so feet across that loop there. Ambitious, if you know much about backpacking, and some of the Scouts, about half of them, had not been on a backpacking trip before. Did we do this entire route? No, we did not. We were flexible. What we ended up doing, if you can see kind of in the middle, there's that darker line that goes and makes this sort of half circle there. That area is called the Cirque of the Towers, which is where we hiked to. So we hiked the right side of that yellow up to the Cirque of the Towers, and then stayed 2 nights there, and then hiked back. And there was another group of Scouts that hiked up to a pass at the upper edge of that half circle. This was our group. It was 8 Scouts and 4 adults. Another important thing to do as you're going on a backpacking trip into the backcountry is take a picture of the group before you go and send it to someone back home so the search parties know who to look for. Be prepared for challenges along the way, like creek crossings. Do you want to get your boots wet? Do you want to go through the trouble to take them off? Do you have an extra pair of shoes and dry socks? Be prepared. Be prepared also for some beautiful sights. This is when we got to the Cirque of the Towers. These peaks are just stunning to look at and kind of unusual. I can just imagine the dialogue between God and the angel that created these. And God says, yeah, go create some mountains. The angel, mountains? Yeah, they're big, tall things made out of rock. The angel does his work. God comes back and says, what in my name did you do? Some of these peaks are just these knife edges that go up. There's one that has like a little half circle cutout in the top. They're just the most strange looking mountains you've ever seen. This was our campsite. This is all our tents. The picture is not crooked with the camera. I mean, it's level with the ground. Our tents were like slip and slides when you slept. You got into your sleeping bag, right to the bottom of the tent. This was our cooking area. We were careful to observe bear precautions. So if you can see in that picture, there's a whole bunch of these blue jars called bear vaults that we kept our food in, and we kept it away from where our tents were and made sure that those food scents and things were not near our sleeping area. And yes, that is a snow patch near that cooking area. So we didn't have to worry about keeping food cold. This was a waterfall that we hiked to. This was not in necessarily the original plans for our hike. We had that original circle would have, taken us a long route. We wouldn't have had time necessarily to take this sort of side trek to go see this waterfall, but because we didn't do the whole circle, we were able to do this instead. And the scouts had fun. This was kind of a neat little waterfall, just a kind of a pond with the water just flowing over this big solid piece of rock. And have fun. When you have a scout whose name is Hudson and you drive through the town of Hudson, even though it's only 431 people, you get out and you take a picture of Hudson at the sign. This was another unexpected part of our plan. We had planned on being on the trail for 4 nights, but on the way back to the trailhead, one of the leaders tripped and banged up her knee, and she was able to walk on it, but we weren't sure if she would be able to walk on it the next day. So we decided to just finish hiking out. And then because this is in National Forest BLM land, you could camp anywhere. So we found a spot that had this cool rock formation that the scouts enjoyed climbing on. And scouts will be scouts. They'll come up with interesting ideas like combining 2 tents into one. Also, at this campsite, we happened to have a ranger visit us in the morning who had a bear trap. There wasn't a bear in it, but she did have a piece of interesting bait. She had a moose leg to bait the trap with. And the scouts had fun. Their goal was to play Frisbee at every stop. I'm not sure if we quite achieved that because we had to change our plans again on the way back. This was another place that we didn't expect to camp, but we drove up to the Bighorn Mountains just to kind of get a little bit more distance and have a shorter drive the next day. We found a great campsite there in the rain, but the rain cleared up and we were able to set up. Fun with that. And the scouts decided that they were going to camp in my car. So there was 4 of them crammed into my car. And you need to be prepared for that eventuality when you have 4 stinky teenagers sleeping in your car. So remember, when you do travel or anywhere you go, to be prepared, be flexible, and have fun. And when you get to the end of the trail, you'll have some great memories.